bro. Thanks, man. Thank you. Actually, I came to get my notepad from last night. I came here. I did my 2 cents on Will Smith, so I'm not gonna keep kidding, so keep kicking a dead horse. So that shit's over. But I just came from my late night therapy session, and just to see my shrink. He's always here for me. So, yeah, I'm sorry. I see some females here. When I thought about all this, I didn't have you guys in mind, so I'm sorry if I'm being too much. I apologize in advance. And one of you guys left, so thank God. But yeah, man, I saw somebody posted on Instagram. He said, "Oh man, I took her to Catch, Catch the restaurant, and I got her some 1942 shots, tequila, some hookah, and man, and I didn't get any coochie, and I had to drive back home, and I'm like, dude, like, why don't you just pay for it, man? Just pay for it, dude. Just pay for it." I never understood. I can never understand like why guys have such an issue with paying for pussy, man. It's just why do you guys want to gamble? I don't get it. Like I don't gamble, man. I hate gambling. I was in Chicago in 2014 summertime, and I was in this bar. You picture me, a 26-year-old at the time. So I'm a horn dog, right? I see every girl I like, just go for it. But I was sitting there, right, and I see this girl running around alone, and I'm like, that's my perfect opportunity right there. So I go up and I'm like, what's up, what's going on? And she's like, oh, I'm looking for my friends, I lost my friends. And I'm like, nah, don't worry about it, let's just go to the bar. And she said, you sure? I don't have any money. I'm like, oh, don't worry, I got money. And I had like $50 cash, right? So I'm like bragging, look, I got money, So we go to the bar, and so she orders a Patron. Patron is first always a very strong drink. I don't drink that shit. I tried it one time, couldn't handle it. So and I'm like, okay, I'm thinking like I'm gonna drink it only just because of you. So I get like 2 Patrons, and so this is what we do, right? We do the thing, the cheers, right? Like hands crossed, and so we drink it, and then she says, well, it was nice to meet you, but. And I'm just sitting there, it's like, what the fuck, dude? Like, looking like a squirrel, like, what just happened, And I'm just sitting there with my dick in my hands, man. And I said, I will never, ever, ever, ever go through this ever in my life, ever again. And you see, we are driven by trauma, something happens to you in your life, and you never go back to the person that you were before. It's impossible. It's just, that's what drives you, trauma, You get triggered, so I get triggered every time, like, I think I have to spend money for a girl. I'm like, no, man. I always think about the 2014, the bar, the girl, and I'm like, no. It's just I freak out. I get nervous. I get paranoid. Yeah, man. Just pay for it, And I was at last week. I went to a strip club. Not because I wanted to, because I had to, right? So all the options have been exhausted. So. That was the only option to save me, right? That was my savior. I'm like, okay, shit, I gotta go. It's just, I have to do this. This is taking over me. I got no choice. And I went there. I went to Better Elegance by LAX. So last time I went there was last year, January. So I met this girl, and she was super high on coke, but she was so much fun. And so we had a great time. It was unforgettable, right? But I ran out of cash, and I said, look, I'm so sorry. You're such a sweet girl, and it was unforgettable. But just give me your Venmo and, or PayPal, whatever you have, and I'll Venmo you, I'll PayPal you tonight. And she said, cool. And she gave me her information, right? And to look somebody that you don't know, right, first time, you gotta put their phone number or their email, right? And I'm like, what's your phone number or your email? And she gives me her phone number, I find her, and I give her the tip, right? I send her the money. But I saved the number. I'm like, look, I'm gonna save your number, so next time I come, I'm just gonna hit you up, see if you're there, right? And she said, cool, absolutely, I love it. And so I haven't seen her like more than a year, right? So I see her and she's all sober and shit, like so serious, and it's like, dude, I'm thinking like, oh man, you were so much fun last time, what happened, And so we go there, and you see, this is the thing, man. Now I felt the recession right there. the inflation. I mean, they don't do the one dance or 2 for 1 or two dances. You know, they only get you. Oh, let's go to the half an hour, the 50 minutes. And I'm like, wait a minute, what happened? What happened last year? What happened to this? And they're like, well, you know, we don't do that anymore. That's not fun. You know, trying to get you like trying to swindle you, right? So I'm like, okay, you know what? I'm thinking like, fuck, man, I'm here. You know, I didn't come all this far. Like, I gotta get something, right? So first of all, I took this money out. So I'm like, I gotta spend that. I can't just keep it in my wallet, you know. So we do it and I'm like, nah, man, this was, you know, sometimes you win, sometimes you lose, and when you lose, you gotta take it like a champ, you know. So it was bad, you know. But and then you know what? And that's the worst part when it's bad and you gotta finish the job yourself, you know. So I went back home and I had to get it out. So I just jacked off like twice, you know. Like twice is my limit, you know. I do it twice, you know. I get it out and I can't do it anymore. I'm all out. But you know what? This time I did it one more time because I was like, no, this is revenge, you know. I did it with a passion. Yeah, man, it's I got issues, you know what I mean? I'm screwed up, man, you know, just when you're addicted, and you know, it's that's my weakness, you know, and it's hard to go back, you know, but I'm doing my best. Yeah, but I was gonna say one more thing about Will Smith. Look, man, I hope the guy's gonna be alright. I think he's going through something, you know. But I was talking to my homie, and my homie is a screenwriter, so this guy always like thinks about characters and events, and you know, like the story arc, the arc, you know. So he said, hey man, did you see the clip? And I'm like, hell yeah. And he said, you know what? I think he was going through something. And I'm like, bullshit. That's never an excuse. We all going through something. Fuck that. You know, that's never an excuse to go and hit somebody, man. What was he thinking? And he said, no, but you don't understand. This guy played King Richard, you know, in the movie. And, you know, King Richard was very protective of his family. And so he spent a lot of time doing that role. And now he's there with his wife. You know, he's got to protect his wife. And he's got all this pressure, probably he's gonna win, and then when Chris made that joke about his wife, you know, he felt very protective. That's why he had to do what he had to do, and then after that he was crying, and then he was dancing, and he went through all these emotions and the arc, and I'm like, man, that's bullshit, you know. The guy was a jackass, man, and yeah, that's just yeah. I just wanted to say that, you know, so. Yeah. What else, man? What else? Shit, I had some more stuff I forgot. Damn, I hit in my notepad. Damn. What else? I think I feel like I got 1 minute and I should do something spectacular to end it with like a high note. Nah, it's fucked that, man. I'm gonna let you finish the job yourself, okay?
Yeah! Keep it going for John! Keep it going for yourselves! That's the late night mic on a Wednesday. Good set, good set. The only thing I had to say was I also